All right, ladies and gentlemen, lesson 2-3, day 2, ordering absolute value and word problems. No photos of work are required for this one. And just a quick reminder, your mid-topic 2 test is next Wednesday, November 11th. All right, the absolute value of a number is its distance from 0 on a number line. Distance is always positive. The absolute value of any number n is written as the absolute value of n, and with those 2 bars around the numbers. This is just a quick review of what you saw yesterday. Remember, the absolute value of 0 is 0. The absolute value of -4 and +4 are both 4 because they are opposites and they are the same distance from 0. This key concept can be found on page 80 of your workbook. All right, please open up your workbooks to page 81, number 34. They ask you to order these values from least to greatest. So they're not asking you to order the numbers from least to greatest, they're asking you to order these values from least to greatest. So meaning you have to think about what the actual values of all of these are. So the absolute value of -12 is +12. The absolute value of 11 3/4 is just 11 3/4. The absolute value of -20 5/10 is 20 5/10. And the absolute value of 2 is 2. So looking at these answers for the absolute values, you want to put these in order from least to greatest first, whether you do it on paper or you do it in your mind. So out of these numbers, the smallest number would be 2, and then the next would be 11 3/4, followed by 12, followed by 20 5/10. But when I write the answer, the final answer to this, I need to write how it was written originally in the problem. So my answer is going to be, well, 2 came from the absolute value of 2, so my first value is going to be the absolute value of 2, followed by the absolute value of 11 3/4, followed by the absolute value of -12, followed by the absolute value of -20 5/10. That's how you will write your answer. That's how you will select your answer on the Math Excel on Envisions. Okay, you're ordering the answers to the absolute values from least to greatest. Okay, now it's your turn to try one. Using what you just saw as I showed you how to do number 34, please now do number 35 on your own. Order these from least to greatest. Please pause the video and try this in your workbook. Good luck. Okay, so let's go over the answer for this. So again, we are ordering the answers to these absolute values. So we have to think about what those answers are first. This one, the absolute value of 10 is 10. The absolute value of -3 is 3. The absolute value of 0 is 0. The absolute value of -5 and 25/100 is just 5 and 25/100. So if I'm going to put those numbers in order, the smallest of those numbers is 0, followed by 3, followed by 5 and 25/100, and finally 10. So going back to where those numbers came from, 0 came from the absolute value of 0. 3 came from the absolute value of -3. 5 and 25/100 came from the absolute value of -5 and 25/100. And 10 came from the absolute value of 10. So this right here, this is your answer for number 35. If you got it right, celebrate! Good job. The next one I want to go over with you is on page 82, number 47. This one is very similar to your Envisions assignment today, question 5. So I just want to make sure you understand the wording and the difference between part A and part B. So it says here, the table at the right shows the scores at the end of the first round of a golf tournament. The scores are relative to par. So par in golf is how many strokes it should take you to, meet the goal of getting the ball in the hole. And so these scores are relative to par. So Kate's score, since she scored a -6, that means she actually did it in 6 less strokes than what par was for the course. Sam, +5 means Sam scored 5 strokes more than what par was. Lisa, 2 strokes more. Carlos, 3 strokes under. And in case you didn't know, with golf, you actually want to be under par. You're not looking for a high score in golf, you're looking for the lowest possible number of strokes it takes to get the ball in the hole. So part A is asking you to arrange the scores in order from least to greatest. Arrange the scores. So the scores as they are, we want to arrange them from least to greatest. So a good way to do that is to think about where these numbers are on the number line. So I'm going to plot those first. So let's talk about Kate's score, -6, would be around here. Sam's score of +5 would be over here. Lisa's score of +2 would be over here. Carlos's score of -3 would be over here. So in order from least to greatest means from left to right. So that's going to be -6 first, then the -3, then the 2, and then the 5. So that would be the scores in order from least to greatest, because as you look at this number line, the one that's furthest to the left is the -6, followed by the -3, followed by the 2, and then the 5. For part B, the golfer with the least score wins the round. Who won the first round of the tournament? Now that we put them in order from least to greatest, we can see that the golfer that had the least score was Kate. So Kate won the first round. Now on the envisions, they will then also ask you to arrange their absolute values from least to greatest. So we could write their absolute values. The absolute value of -6 is 6. The absolute value of 5 is 5. The absolute value of 2 is 2. The absolute value of -3 is 3. And so the absolute value of 2 would be the smallest one, followed by the absolute value of -3, followed by the absolute value of 5, followed by the absolute value of -6. So on the envisions, they will ask you to order the numbers as is, and they will also ask you to order the absolute values. This is another question that I wanted to go over that's on your Math Excel. This is similar to your question 3. You and a friend dropped 2 water balloons out of a window while another friend watched safely from the ground. I guess that means that they weren't within shot of the water balloons. The elevation relative to the window means they're not giving you the elevation as we normally talk about elevation, which is how far above or below sea level. Their elevation is how far above or below the window. So they're telling you the elevation of the first balloon was -28 feet when it burst. So that means since it was -28 feet, that means it was 28 feet below the window when it burst. The elevation of the second balloon was -33 feet when it burst, which means the second balloon was 33 feet below the window when it burst. Use the absolute value of -28 and the absolute value of -33 to represent the distances the balloons fell. Which balloon fell further, and is it possible to find how far the first balloon was above the ground when it burst? So the absolute value of -28, the first balloon, that's 28 feet. So the first balloon fell 28 feet. The second balloon, they asked you to use the absolute value of 33, which is 33. The second balloon fell 33 feet. So which balloon fell further? Well, the second balloon fell further. And the second part of the question is it possible to find how far the first balloon was above ground when it burst? Well, the information they gave us only told us how far each balloon was from the window. They never told us how far the window was from the ground. They didn't give us any data about the ground other than the fact that there was somebody watching from the ground. But we don't know how far away that was. So no, it is not possible to find out how far the first balloon was above the ground when it burst. All right, so your assignment is to log into Envisions. Complete 2-3 Math Excel for School Practice and Problem Solving Day 2. After that, log into Quizzes for extra credit practice. There is a fraction decimal conversion quiz on Quizzes that will help you for the Mid-Topic 2 test next week. You can take it as many times as you want, and your highest score is the one that I will use to give you extra credit added on to your minor assessments. Good luck, and if you have any questions, you can always find me in the Help channel.